Hello friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And today I'm going to be making several different flavored extracts other than vanilla, and I thought I'd take you along for the ride with this. Now I do have a video on how I make my own homemade vanilla extract, and really great stuff if you haven't made your own homemade vanilla extract. But I constantly get people that are asking me where I got my vanilla beans. Now here's the sad news. Vanilla beans have skyrocketed in price since I bought mine. I have a couple of quart jars full of them because I was stocking up. Every month I'd buy another bag of them. And at that time, I think they were about $30 for a quarter pound. Now they can be over $100, but most commonly around 90, so about 3 times the price, but they can be 4 and 5 times the price depending on where you're looking. So I haven't been sharing links to the vanilla beans because I can't even find, the ones I bought were the Frontier brand, and I can't even find those anymore. And when I did finally find them, they were well over $100 for the same size package I was buying. Now there's a reason for that. It's all the way across the board, and that is because we've had this big major bee die-off, at least from what I understand, in that particular area. And so the vanilla crops they're very scarce because we don't have the bees pollinating the vanilla flowers. So, you know, this is why bees are important, people. But what that got me thinking about is it would be great to have other things besides vanilla. I mean, vanilla is a great extract because it goes so well with everything. But there are other extracts that we can use for different types of flavors, or even flavors that would still go just as well with everything like vanilla does. Now, one day, a couple months ago, I was making my chocolate cream pie for something, and I decided instead of using vanilla extract in the whipping cream that I was whipping up for the whipped cream topping, I would try some amaretto, because somehow I ended up with a tiny little bottle of amaretto, and I tell you, it tasted great. And it got me thinking about how about making other forms of extracts that I can use for flavoring. And I know a lot of people do it. I just always forget and don't think about it. I just always do the tried and true vanilla. So what I have here, I've already started some vanilla. I just started this a little bit ago, a few minutes ago, well, maybe half hour ago tops. And you can already see the color of the liquid is starting to change. And then here is some orange made from organic orange slices. And I'm going to make at least 2 more right here on camera and show you what I do or how I'm going to do this. Keep in mind, these particular extracts are all new to me as far as making these ones. However, I know these are going to turn out great, and I'm very excited to try them. So, since the amaretto went so well, I figured making an almond extract would be a really good choice for going with all kinds of things. Now, one I would like to make someday, but I won't today because Mr. Rain isn't crazy about pecans. But pecans is one of the ones I really want to make at some point. But I'll hold off for now because I've got so many ideas going right here. So I'll be doing almond. I'll be doing coffee, a coffee extract, and I'm going to be doing a chocolate extract. And I don't know if anyone's ever done it this way. I'm just going to try it using some organic raw cacao nibs. Now, one thing I found out was that the cacao nibs are actually lowest in lead than like your cacao powder and your cacao butter. You know, so that's something to think about. And I love cacao nibs. All right, so we're going to start with the coffee. I got about a quarter cup of whole organic coffee beans in here, and I'm just going to kind of mash them up, basically just to break them open, because I don't want to use coffee grounds. I just think that'll be too messy to, to filter out once the extract is done. So I'm just going to mash them up until all the beans are mashed, and I've got a coarse mix here. And by the way, I think this is probably the first time, maybe, I've used the mortar and pestle on camera, but I love this thing. I got it on Amazon years ago, and it's all marble, and I will link to it below. And I get my organic coffee beans from Costco. I think they have the best price. I can order them online. Since we don't have a Costco card anymore, we let it expire years ago. I either let the kids pick stuff up for me, or what I can order online is what I do. But anyway, I think they have the best price on the organic coffee beans. Okay, so I'm going to put that in one of my pint-sized jars here, or half-pint jars, excuse me. These are half-pint. And I think that should be plenty. Smells great. And then the next one, I'll add the liquids in a minute. I'm going to show you what I got going on here first. Okay, so I've got this vacuum sealed using the brake bleeder technique like I always do. So I'm thinking maybe about that much sliced almonds, or you could take whole almonds and bust them up like I did with a mortar and pestle. You know, you don't want them too tiny. You want to make it easy to filter, but I think using whole ones won't give you as strong of a flavor. Okay, and then for the last one, the third one I'm going to do, or actually the fifth, I'm going to add about the same amount of the cacao nibs as in the coffee. So, and you can see I did, while I was talking there, I put another pinch of almonds in there because I want to make sure there's plenty. I want lots of flavor. Okay, so now for my ingredients. Typically people like to use vodka, which is great because it has no flavor. It goes well with anything. My favorite thing to do is a blend of spiced rum and non-GMO food grade glycerin. Now, I will link to the glycerin that I buy below. I'm going to link to the big pack. There is smaller ones. You can even get Now Foods. The one I get here is like this. You can get 2 1-gallon jugs for a really good price. It's the best price I've seen on food grade glycerin. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to pour in the food grade glycerin, maybe about halfway. And there's a reason why I do a mix. I've tried doing it with just the glycerin, and it's just a little too thick to really extract as quickly as I'd like to see it work. And then I'll fill these up the rest of the way with spiced rum. So when you mix the two together, it really makes an excellent extract. Just about out of this one. And then this one, I had my son get me from Costco, and I took a little sniff and a tiny little taste just to compare it to the Captain Morgan's, and I found it to be just as good and for a lot less in price. And this way too, by using the food grade glycerin, you're also cutting back on the amount of alcohol you need. But the blend of the two, the spiced rum just has a really nice flavor. And then the food grade glycerin will add a natural sweetness to it, but it doesn't raise your glycemic level. So it's a really good choice for those who are diabetic. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take, normally what I do is shake it, but I'm going to go ahead and take my chopstick and kind of mix these up from the bottom a little bit. Mostly because I want to see what I got here. Yeah, these could use a little more liquid. The almond one's okay. We'll add a little more rum to the coffee and definitely to the chocolate. There we go. Oh, a little bit more. I want to get as much out of these as I can. There we go. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my lids and bands on. And then I'm going to give them all a good shake to mix the glycerin and the alcohol together. Otherwise, the glycerin will tend to just kind of float on top or stay on the bottom. So you want to mix those together really good. And plus, that gets it all in there, mixing around with whatever it is that you're infusing or extracting, so it can really start doing a good job of getting the goodies out of there. Okay, and before I clean up this mess, I'll show you what I do for lids like this that have writing on them, because I like to use permanent marker. I just spray a little bit of rubbing alcohol. I always keep, you know, the isopropyl alcohol in a bottle like this, a spray bottle, so I can just spray it on. And then you take a dry cloth and wipe it off just like that. Super easy. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to write on each lid what's in here and the date. Now, there's probably going to be varying opinions of how long you let it sit. For me, 8 weeks, I just say 2 months is the best time when it comes to infusing or extracting anything. I don't like going less than that. I want to make sure I'm getting as much flavor and as much, if it comes to like a medicinal extract, as much of the nutrients and medicinal properties out of it as possible. So allowing it to sit for 2 months is good. So you're going to want to make sure that you date this so you know. And also occasionally take it out, you know, once a week maybe, if you remember. I never do. And then just give it another good shake every time. So what we got here again is we got orange, raspberry, almond, chocolate, and coffee. So be watching down the road for an update video about 2 months from now on what I think about the different extracts and how they turned out. Now, your possibilities are endless for flavor. I know another one I want to do down the road once my peppermint is really growing again, because I don't want to use the peppermint I have dehydrated up. I've already got it mixed with a bunch of other herbs and stuff. I just want straight peppermint. So I'm going to wait till it's growing and I'm going to start a batch of that. And I like to use dehydrated ingredients when it comes to making extracts typically, but I think for the peppermint I'm going to try doing that with fresh, because I think I'll get a stronger flavor when I do that. So, but for these things like the raspberries, these freeze-dried raspberries, these are the Mother Earth ones I talk about. And then these are the ones, the oranges I dried myself. A lot, when it comes to dried fruits, a lot of times you're going to have a stronger, especially freeze-dried, flavor in those. So I feel good about that. But for the peppermint, I think fresh is going to be best. And before I finish out, I wanted to show you this empty jar that I have sitting here because I need to get this done today. And Mr. Rain likes the homemade brown sugar to go on his oatmeal or the hot cereal blend, which I will link to a video on the hot cereal blend right up here. If I'm not using, you know, adding apple butter or something to them when I'm cooking them. Then some days he just likes butter and the homemade brown sugar. So I wanted to show you this. So if you're new to my channel, I do have a video out there on how I make my own homemade brown sugar. So I will also link to that one right up here. Okay, so I hope that inspires you to try some new things, some new flavors, because we got to find a way to counteract the high price of vanillas. There's got to be some other things that we like as much for flavor, if not more, that will save us money, and things that we can maybe even grow right here on our own homestead, such as the peppermint. I mean, like I said, the possibilities are endless. Just whatever you set your mind to that just sounds good as a flavoring, just give it a go. That's why I'm doing these in just small half-pint jars, rather than going for making a whole quart at a time, which is usually what I'd like to do. And then I like storing them in these little swing top bottles. These are just easy to use that way. And I will link to these below. I have a bunch of them, and I love these things for storing, you know, my vanilla extract. So I'll be using the same with these different extracts, and obviously making sure they're labeled, because the vanilla, the coffee, and the chocolate, I'm sure will all look the same when they're done. So, alright, well, I hope you enjoyed this video and that maybe you learned something new. Thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.